Hello, thank you for attending this SC ACIS training. I'm Jessica Spaccio. I'm a service climatologist with the Northeast Regional Climate Center. A little background on ACIS. We do have a few different ACIS interfaces. ACIS is another one that some of you might be familiar with that is actually used largely by the National Weather Service. SC ACIS has everything that ACIS has, as well as a couple other products. There's a data set comparison tool and gridded data maps. SC ACIS was created specifically for state climatologists. We had requests for a tool that would help those state climatologists with reports and requests that they need to get done. So this will help them answer those questions without having to build their own database. So that's our goal today, is to go through the products that we have to help those questions and requests. So basically, we're going to be going through and doing examples showing what the products are available. For the product selection, the first thing we have, you can choose from single station, multi-station, or other products. We'll be dealing with mostly the first two, and I'll get to the other products at the end. So first example, we were looking for daily records at Buffalo, New York. Product we could look this up with is the almanac data for a day. Now keep in mind that you can use different reports to get the same information. So we'll just be going through different examples, but you can obtain the same thing using different reports. Today we're going to look for May 9th, 2014. You can just type it in. And there are different output types, HTML or text. You need HTML for this one, but we will use both so you can see how they look. And there's also additional options. Here is maximum allowable missing days. If you wanted to check that, there's the defaults built in. You could change this to whatever you thought was most useful for you. We'll check it for now. And then when you do your station search, there's two options. If you know the station ID, you can type that in. If you don't, you can enter the city and state or the zip code. So we'll just type in Buffalo, New York. And as you see in the drop-down, we'll have a long list of stations. They're sorted from closest to farthest away. We also have the map here. We've got the bullseye showing where we searched and all the icons for the stations. The pins are the co-op stations, and the water drops are COPRA stations. And you can click on any of these to get the station metadata. So double click, so you see the station name, you see all the different station IDs, so it's the lat, long, elevation, and available date ranges. So it's really convenient. You can see if they have a long enough period of record for what report you're looking for. So we'll go ahead and look at the airport data. And you'll see that we get these little bars here as the data fills in. The data is actually computed on the fly, so everything is up to date when you're pulling these reports. So the max temperature that day was 82, and you can see that that was a record. So you can confirm pretty quickly and easily that record was made on that day. We also have the different daily variables: max, min, average, temperatures, precipitation, snowfall, snow depth, and heating and cooling degree days. As well as daily, we have month-to-date summaries and year-to-date summaries. If we wanted to look at today's date to see what records we had to beat today, we could type that in. So there's no observed data yet because it's an airport station, so they take their hours at midnight, but we can see what the record was for high and low. So we have to reach 74 today to beat the record. The month-to-date summaries are also useful. You can see where we are compared to normal, as well as the record. So a little bit actually on the warm side so far this month. We can look at precip and it's been on the wet side. You can also compare to another year. You can choose from any year. We can last year. It fills in really quickly. You can see last year was actually even wetter than this year. So this is great for looking at one day at a time. But if you wanted to look at multiple days, we have a different report for that as well. Go down to calendar day summaries. So here we can only view one variable at a time, but you get the entire calendar day. So we'll look at the max temp. And Buffalo stays as the default. You can also type in AD. I know it's a box. And it automatically selects the type for you. If you didn't know, you can just select any and it'll figure it out for you. So here we can see the entire year and the max for the month is highlighted. And there's other variables. We could take a look at precipitation. Like say number of years with more than an inch. So here's a quick look and you can see today is October 28th. There's been no years where October 28th had an inch or more precip, but you can quickly take a look and see what other years have had, or other days have had more. So this is kind of a cool report to look at as well. If you're interested in more probabilities for a day, you look at our time series report. This is also known as our activity planner. It's great for planning ahead, events, travel, weddings. We use this for our White Christmas report. So if we wanted to look at an example of that on December 25th, I'm going to do a search for Pink Notch, New Hampshire. So here you see for each day, the variables are all filled in. Each year, December 25th. You scroll down to the bottom, the summary is a really useful part of this report. We look at snow depth. There's been 94% of the years have had an inch or more of snow on the ground. You could also look at precipitation. 57% of the years had precipitation on that day. Now you could also change, this is for the entire period of record. If you want to just look past 30 years, for example, we could do 1984. 2013, since 2014 hasn't occurred yet. And you can see that this did change a bit. Now these are based on historical averages, but if we wanted to know what the normals are, we have the NCDC normals in here as well. Daily monthly normals. So you can choose whether you want monthly or daily. You can choose the month you're interested in and the variable. So just quickly, here's an example. So we have the monthly normals. One is daily precip normals. There they are. So it's really quick, great way to see the normals. So we looked at records for a single station. What if we want to see multiple stations at once for an area? We use our multiple station products and look at record values for a day. There are two different year areas to fill in here. The stations active versus the analysis period. This comes in handy if you're, even though you want to see the entire period of record, maybe you only want to look at stations that are still active and still reporting. If we didn't have this in here, you might get a ton of records for stations that are no longer active, and maybe that's not useful anymore. So let's take a look at October 15th. Let's look at the highest min temperatures. And let's compare to last year. Here you can also include the station coordinates and the station type. Now when you're doing multiple station search, there's two ways to do that. One is with a state and area. Got a drop down for your state. You can choose by the entire state, county warning area, climate division, basin, or county. You can also do a bounding box. Do that here. You can click on the little icon. Gives you the nice directions at the bottom. You can drag your box where you want it. Click show stations, and they'll populate there in for you. You can also type in the actual lab logs if you know that. Hit go. Do the bar fill in as these are computed. So this is searching for the entire period record for all these stations, and it filled in fairly quickly. So we'll see the cross states here. So we have the state name, station type. I didn't include the coordinates. That last year, what the record is, when it occurred, and valid date range for each station. With any of these HTML outputs, you can sort by the heading. So if we want to click on year, you can see they're sorted from oldest to newest. And there were several stations that broke the record this year. Also, under multiple stations, we could look at the daily data per month. Actually, no, we're going to look at single station first. So daily data per month. We use this report a lot here. This fills in with the most complete month first. As for the temperature handling, there's full precision and intermediate rounding. You'll see this little icon on some of the reports. If you hover over, it gives a bigger explanation. Full precision is the default, and it's what we use and what we recommend. We can read through that for more information. Here, let's do a search by ID. This is the station ID for New Brunswick, New Jersey, the co-op station. So it's filled in here. It's a quick view of the entire month. So for each day, we have the temperatures, precip, heating and cooling. You'll notice that the extremes are highlighted. We've got the max, the min, and the highest precip for the month. The bottom, each of those are summed, averaged, and we have the normals. So you can get a quick view and say, okay, well, it's been a really dry month. Normal is 4.5, and like 1.23. Also on this report are the observation times. This is the only report in ACIS that includes those, so it's really handy to use this report to find out when the observation times are, since they differ for each station. So if we wanted to see just the monthly data instead of the daily data for the month, we can do that as well. I mean monthly summarized data. There's several different output types here as well. We'll do the table. And then we had a request from the Department of Horticulture for growing degree days, so I'm going to use that as an example. User base 50. You can put in any years you're interested in. You also see my start to type. You can put in the period of record as well. Month range, we'll do May to October. You can set missing values, date of occurrence if we were doing like a max temperature, include missing days count. We'll put that in there so we can see. And then we can select the years. Let me do that up here. Here I'm going to do a search for Altoona, PA. Got it on their map. Just really quickly put in here the value for each month missing. You can see there's 2 days missing for October because the month isn't complete yet this year, as well as the season totals. We wanted to assign them a text form. I could do CSV table. And there we've got the text formatting. If we wanted to see this similar data for a group of stations, we can go back to our multiple station product and do data for a date range. Now I've been typing in the start dates, but we also have the calendar function. You can click here, there's shortcuts. You can also go to select dates and choose from the calendar. So I'm going to look at growing degrees again. So I'm going to do May 1st to present, click done, puts it in for us. We've been going with some. There's other options. We also look at two variables at the same time here. Like say if we want to see average temperature, we'll look at it. So we did the bounding box before. This time we'll look at the state area choosing. So we want to go to Pennsylvania. And I can do this by division. And we can either click on the drop down and also click on the map. This is the South Central Mountain Division. So here it quickly puts in all the stations that are in that division. It's got both the going 3 days and their average temperature. We also view this on a map instead of just in the table. When it does that, it automatically takes the first variable. It'll only map one variable at a time. So here we go. It's plotted them nicely on the map for us. The multiple station reports are also handy to get a list of stations with their coordinates. If you've had a request from someone and they wanted to know what stations were available in a given county or a given area, we could use these and we could select, we wanted a whole county warning area, and we could add the station coordinates. Maybe we just want a CSV list. And then we've got all the stations with the coordinates to quickly come up with that list. Another multiple station product is the monthly data. Here, let's look at some snow totals. So we'll go to January. So it's similar to the previous report, but here we're looking at one complete month at a time. We can't just put in any days, we'll select the entire month. And we'll do total snows. We'll include a map here. And next, include the missing days count. Let's look at a different area. Let's look at Indiana. So it's filled in all the values in the map for us. You can see there's quite a few. And any of these map features, these are Google Map products. So you can use the zoom function to zoom in. You can move around just like you would in a regular Google Map. We scroll down and we'll see our list of stations here. So we have the station type, what the snowfall was, and also how many missing. We can sort. There's quite a few zeros, but they've got a lot of missing data. Maybe we want to take some of those out. We can go back and set our max missing to 3 days. So rerun it. We sort these again. So we've lost those zeros aren't here anymore. And if we want to click it again to see the highest amount on top, see the highest in this area was Tipton at 54 inches. So if we say we're now interested in knowing more about Tipton and not how much they had just in January, but how much they had in their entire season. So we'll go back to a single station product and we'll look at seasonal time series. I'm going to do just the table for now. So we're going to look at their snowfall. And here we've got select periods are already available for you, and we'll just look at the winter. Now to do a search for Tipton. So list all the stations. And we know that one it was a 5 Southwest station. So it puts in for each season how much snow they had, includes the missing count for us. We scroll down, we can see that year had 89.4. The great thing about this report is if we sort, it'll put in a ranking for us. So this year was actually the snowiest season. But if you're interested in another year, you can quickly see how it ranks. Or if you want to get a list of the top 10, you can just take all of the top 10 there. You can also use other if you didn't want to use one of the seasons that we have selected or our particular month. Like say we wanted to go from November to March. We'll sort it again. So we can do that as well and see not just the 3-month winter season, but the entire snowfall season. So there are other variables with snowfall here, but all the same variables are available here with the different summaries, number of days, percent of days, and the extremes. Another report we'll look at is the daily data listing. Here you can put in any days that you're interested in. I use one of the shortcuts. We'll look at the last 90 days. And let's look at average temperature and departure. You can also do a search by zip code if you know it. This is handy sometimes when we get requests. Our customers will give us not just a city, but they'll give us a zip code. That's convenient sometimes when there are 2 cities in a state with the same name. So this is for Asheville, North Carolina. And here we go. So we've got a list of all the stations. Now let's say we wanted to put this into Excel, because a lot of the data, especially when we have a long list, we're going to want to use something with it. I'll give you a quick example of what that looks like. Open an Excel file here. All right. And what we want to do is copy and paste. You can either select a section of it and do copy. If you had a long list, that could be a little tedious. You can do a select all to get the entire page, and then do our copy. And when you do that, you will get the heading, but it's much quicker to get that in there and just delete it out. Now this will go to all the one column, so you'll need to separate these. So use the text to columns feature. And these are CSV files, so we're to delimit it by comma. And there you go, you've quickly got all your data in Excel, and now you can save it and send it off in an Excel file to someone, or you can manipulate it however you need to. So there we've been looking at daily data for a single day, but what if we wanted to look at multiple day events? We can do that as well. In our extremes report, let's say we wanted to see 2-day precipitation events. You can either, it defaults to 10, the 10 highest records. You can put in 50 and get a longer list of records there. And highest or lowest. In this case, you want to do the highest. I'm going to do a search for Pueblo, Colorado. We'll get a long list here. And another thing we could do is do a airport, the airport identifiers. This one is K-Pub. This is an ICAO station. So it's putting the top 10 for us. We've got how much precipitation fell most days, the ending date, and if there are any missing days. Also, it includes the period of record. So this wasn't just a short period of record. This is since the 1950s. But if we wanted to look at something even longer than that, you can search for a threaded station. You can't do our typical search because threaded stations don't have a Latin long because they're using the multiple stations together. You can put them in the ID. which is it's the three-letter identifier followed by THR. And you can see it's filled in with red X. We'll rerun this report. And now you can see the creator record's been extended back to 1888. So we will get some of those for prior to the 50s that were available to the airport alone. Again, with an HTML file, you can sort these. It's a pretty short list, but you could sort these by date. So going back to multiple stations, we want to see the same thing, but for an area, you can do that. The multi-station extremes. We'll do the same thing. We'll look at total precip for 2 days. We want to know the highest. So we were in Colorado, and I'm going to search by county. It's Pueblo County. Again, you could search for a different county on the map. You just click and it'll select for you. So here we go. The bar fills in pretty quick. Got all the stations in the county. Got a lot of Pokora stations there. And we can sort by value to see which in the areas has the most or has the highest 2-day extreme. So Rye has a 6.71 for their 2-day extreme. It also has just a date range for each of these stations. If we wanted to look at any of the other variables, we could. You look at average temperature over any number of days. And it'll fill in. We've got a smaller subset here because the Kokora stations are pretty only. Another multi-station product is our daily data. Okay, yesterday, we'll keep the variables checked. We'll stick to the same area. So this very simply just gives each station and the usual VZ variables. Something else we can do in ACIS if you wanted to look at consecutive days concerning heat waves. Go back to our single station products. So this you want to depend on what area you're in, what temperature and what run you want to use. The Northeast would typically say 3 days or more of 90 or hotter. I'm going to do a search for Oklahoma, so I'm going to go with 100 degrees. You can create a top 10 runs, or we can do a specific number of days. I'm going to do 3 days. We'll do a search for Tulsa. And I want to look at the airport. So this gives us the rank with the run length and the date. The longest run is 22 days with 100 or hotter, ending August 28, 1936. So it gives all the runs are listed here. We can sort these. We want to say, well, when was the recent heat wave? Click again, and we'll get the most recent day first. So August 25th of this summer, with a run length of 4 days. You could also use this to look at precipitation. We want to say how many days with no precip. You do that equals to 0. Let's say we just want to see the top 10. So that gives us the top 10 longest and their ending dates. One thing to note about precipitation in these reports, a trace is not considered measurable precip, so it will go in as 0. Another report we could look at is our first last dates. You do these for frost and snowfall days. We have temperatures are available as well. We'll do a frost example. So min temp is kind of the default there. Check for assessment for 32. We'll leave these right for the calendar year. And we're going to do a search for Columbus, Georgia. Look at the airport. So again, reminder, we've got the Google map here. We can click on any of these if we want to see their metadata, see their date ranges. This will take just a second, so it'll fill in. So for each year, you see the last spring frost and the first fall frost, as well as the season length. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's the extremes and the average. So you can see the average first fall frost for Columbus is November 14th. You could also sort these if you want to see like by season length. Say the shortest season was in 53, maybe you want to see the longest. That was in 2004. Next to the top several here were in the 2000s. We also did an example with snowfall. Greater than 0. Again, as with precipitation, a trace won't count here. And we'll do a season. Next to a different area. Let's look for Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we've got our map, we've got our list. I'm going to look at the airport. Another thing to note here, if you weren't satisfied with any of the stations that you wanted to see a different one, you can expand your search area. It'll fill in more stations for you. So similar to the frost report, we're seeing our first and last days of the season. Scroll down, it gives us our average. So average first snow is November 13th for Green Bay. We have some graphs available. Look at the accumulation graph. Here I'm going to look at 2010 to present. And we'll look at these accumulation graphs are precip snowfall and the degree days. We'll stick with precipitation. It'll include normal. You can do a search for Los Angeles. So what we see here is the green shaded area is the actual accumulation that actually fell. And we have the brown line, which is normal. As I move my cursor here, you'll see with the box that shows wherever I stop hovering, the day, daily value, accumulated as of that date, and the normal as of that date. You can actually also zoom in on this map. You can zoom in manually, or you can use the zoom box up here if you want to see year to date. It'll zoom in, we'll just see January 2014 to present. You notice on the bottom, when you do that, you get this cursor. You can move along the graph if it's zoomed in. You can also, if you wanted to print this graph, on the top here, there's a print chart option. You can also save it to PNG or JPEG or PDF. The other graph that we have here is the temperature graph. I'll leave it with annual, but you can select any of the options, a month, or you can put other for dates. Take a look at Hawaii. So this graph, this is So showing us has the blue line, which shows the actual temperatures for each day, the max and min. The brown line is giving us the normal temperature range. The red is the max, and the blue is the min, and those are the record max and min. Same as the accumulation graph. When you hover, your mouse pops up a little box there with whatever date you're on, the actuals and the records for that day. We can also zoom in here, since it's pretty busy, like say we want to just look at an area, just click and drag. And then when you unclick, it shows the area that you zoomed into. This way you can see a little more clear and actually see where the temperatures were for each of those days. And if you want to go back, just reset. Another product that we have yet to look at in the multiple station products are precipitation summary. Here I want to look at the 22nd. And you can either look at total precip or departure from normal. Take a look at the departure. And take a look at Ohio, and we'll look at our Northwest division. So it gives us all the stations in that division, has their coordinates, and shows their precipitation departure for the last 30 days, 60, 90 where it's available, 180, and January 1st and October 1st. This is a really handy report, especially looking at drought. You want to see if it's short-term drought, how it's progressed, hasn't been going on for a long time or not. You can put in any date you want here. You can look at total instead of departure. You can also do a CSV file here if you want to do quickly copy this into Excel. So those are our single and multiple station products. We want to look at our other products. I'll show you quickly. We have the data set comparison tool. Here I'm not going to go into detail about this, but it explains the different sources that are used in ACIS. If it's something that you want to use and have questions about, feel free to contact us and we'll go over that in more detail with you. Station information. Do a search here. So this is simply that same box that we saw when we double-clicked on the icons in the Google Map. It gives us the IDs, lat long, elevation, and available pages. We can do a search for any station here. And the last product is our gridded data maps. So it automatically fills in the most complete month. You can also do by day or an interval. We'll just look at September. So here our only options are max, min, and precip. Let's take a look at the precip sum. We have to do number of days. And there's 3 different data set selections. We have our NRCC station interpolated, our high res, and the prism. Take a look at our high res. Again, we have the little icons. You can see what the grid sizes are and a little bit more about those different selections. We have Iowa selected from our last search. We'll stick with that. So it'll fill in. We've got a nice map of the state showing how much their September precip was. We can compare that to the prism map. They're fairly similar, but there are a few differences. Next day, we want to see an interval. We want to see how this month was to date. We don't have that yet, so let's try a different interval. Let's do the last 90 days. Okay, it's through September since they didn't have an October data yet. You can put in any dates you're interested in. You can also take a look at temperatures. So a lot of cool maps available here. We also have a print function. Up here you see the little print icon. You can click on that, and you can, depending on how yours is set up, you can print it. You can save it as a PDF from here. We do have a few setting options. You can change the font sizes. In the help function, there's not a whole lot there right now. We have one main. I guess there's nothing there right now, but if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to email us at nrcc@cornell.edu, or you can email me directly, jlr98@cornell.edu. Happy to help you with any questions, or if there's any tools that you're looking for that you're not seeing here, or anything specifically that you need to get done. We'd be happy to go through and try to get that answer for you. I hope this was useful. Hope you learned a lot about what products we have available and that it helps in the work that you do. Thank you very much.